y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Got a story from thedailymail.com about the pronoun people. It came out on, June the 30th, 2023. And this is a story that was sent to me from Only Pamela's Way. So shout out to Only Pamela's Way for keeping us up on what is going on in this crazy world. So this is really a crazy story, and it's scary because the pronouns have come up with so many things that if you don't hang out in that community, you don't know what they mean. You could literally be charged with a felony in Michigan or face up to 5 years in prison and get a $10,000 fine for using the wrong pronouns under an unconstitutional new bill. The Michigan House has approved a hate speech bill, HB 4474, that would criminalize causing someone to feel threatened by words. Now, ain't it amazing that Black people who've been lynched from trees, we get mowed down by police, our kids get harassed in school, um, you name it. We go through hell on jobs, in college. We don't have nothing in this country that is protecting us. And the pronouns can get a hate speech bill if someone causes them to feel threatened by words. Words. We got to fight people calling our kids racist names in the street. We getting gunned down when we trying to protect our kids. People are lynching folks. Black kids are missing. And we can't get a hate crime bill for nothing. But the white pronouns get their feelings hurt and they got a bill. Take note, y'all, while y'all voting for these politicians, y'all see how they care for y'all, Black people. They do not care about you, y'all, Sherelle. The bill aims to replace the current Ethnic Intimidation Act and includes sexual orientation and gender identity or expression as protected classes. Offenders could face up to 5 years in prison for the felony offense. Some have argued that the legislation could infringe on free speech rights. Not just free speech, but what if you just don't know what the hell somebody calls themselves? You look at somebody and you call them something and they're like, I don't identify as that. I identify as this. How the hell are you supposed to know? How? How would you know? What if you are an older person or like me? I don't hang around in the community, and since they done added on so many alphabets and pluses, I don't know what nobody is like. And not only that, I why is it my responsibility to know what somebody else decides to call themselves? If they decide I'm gonna be a mailbox, I gotta know, I call him a man, he's a mailbox. He calls himself a non-binary, blah blah blah, them, they, it. How am I supposed to know that? How would anybody know that? What about the 70-year-old lady who don't know nothing about none of this stuff? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Michigan's House of Representatives has passed the hate speech bill known as HB 4474, which criminalizes someone which criminalizes causing someone to feel threatened by words, by including misusing of their pronouns, and the possibility of a hefty fine or even jail time. So they're letting you know that this bill is only for the pronoun community. It is not for anybody else. It's not for people who experience racism. It's not for, people who experience sexual harassment, just for alphabets. So, as you can see, the darkness that I've been telling y'all to prepare for is here. We are literally living in darkness now. You can't even talk about something or call somebody something when you don't even know who they are. The bill introduces hate crime penalties for causing someone to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened with sexual orientation and gender identity or expression, including included as protected classes. So notice how they've gotten themselves included in protected classes in the civil rights category that was originally meant for us. Offenders could face up to 5 years in prison for such a felony offense or a $10,000 fine. It is part of a continuous, I guess it should be continuous effort by Democrats. Let me say it again. Democrats. One more time. Democrats in the state to advance pro-LGBT plus agenda in the first months in power. The proposed legislation aims to replace the existing Ethnic Intimidation Act and extends protections against intimidation for everybody except the Negro. There's no protection in this world for us. Critics argue the bill poses a threat to First Amendment rights and lacks clarity in defining harassment, leaving it open to subjective interpretation. And that's a whole problem because y'all know them pronouns extra. They love to be combative. They love, and not all of them, let me go ahead and say that, not all of them, but the white ones who are going to use and abuse this privilege, them. Because it ain't going to work for the black ones. The black ones can go try it. You can be getting dragged behind a truck. They don't care nothing about you. It's not for you. The bill is for the white alphabets. The bill reads as follows. Intimidate means a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of another individual that would cause a reasonable individual to feel terrorized, frightened, or threatened, and that actually causes the victim to feel terrorized, frightened, and threatened. So that means your kid could be getting bullied at school and could not probably get this bill to work for them because it's really only for the alphabets. If passed, penalties would be based on how the supposed victim and court feel about a particular matter. So here we are talking about feelings. Now, facts are going out the door, truth is out the door, real evidence is going out the door. All you got to do is feel offended, and then you can press charges. So you see where things are going? See how when you give them an inch, they take 25 miles? This is why you can't give in to that community. But it's too late now. This country has opened the door for them and they've taken it over. So um, you can either not talk to them and not talk about them. And then even then they'll be saying you hurt their feelings because you didn't talk to them. So there's no winning with these folks. I'm just telling you from personal experience. You ain't winning with them. What constitutes as being deemed intimidation and harassment would be up to the interpretation of the listener and a local prosecutor. So, a listener and a local prosecutor would be the one to decide whether or not you offended the pronoun person. I can see all the problems in the world. Black people, y'all best to learn how to mind your business. That's all I can say. See them folks and don't see them. Critics argue that legislation could infringe on free speech rights and undermine the principles of due process. So here in the bill, it does say race, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. So they included these people in this bill. But you know, the way that it's written is going to be primarily for them because most times this country doesn't enforce anything race related anyway. That's a high burden to prove according to them. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the alphabet stuff. Michigan Democrats have made it a priority to further protect alphabet people since they took control of all levels of the state government this year. In March, lawmakers codified alphabet protections in the state's civil rights law, permanently outlawing discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity in the state. This new hate speech bill passed in the Democrat controlled House 59 to 50 and will now move to the Michigan State Senate for further consideration. If approved, it would be expected to be signed, I guess to say it would be signed into law by the Democratic state governor Gretchen Whitmire. Distinguished Professor Emeritus William Wagner, an expert in constitutional law and former legal judge, warns that the legislation could be used to silence conservative viewpoints and would oppose the due process required by the Constitution. Make no mistake about it, those advocating for this legislation will wield these policies as a weapon, which we already know, capable of destroying conservative expression or viewpoints grounded in the sacred, Wagner told the Daily Wire. One merely needs to look at the scores of cases brought against schools, churches, businesses, and individuals around our country. Proponents use these laws to financially cripple those who dare to adhere to a different viewpoint and oppose their agenda. And at the end of the day, that's what all this is about. So this bill has not passed both branches of government yet, and it has not made it to the governor's desk, but it's something to pay attention to because if it passes and the Supreme Court allows it to stand, it will become the law of the land. It means, these laws could be pushed all across the country. Now, I doubt if it would pass in the South, but who knows? Um, it's really something that we need to be watching out for because if you can be prosecuted for calling somebody the wrong pronouns, we all going to jail. We all gonna be fine. We all gonna be in trouble because who knows what people want to call themselves. You could be in a store and I saw this YouTube video where this guy who looked clearly like a man, but he had a dress on and some lipstick and guess some hair extensions. And the little guy who was checking him out was like, "Hello, sir." And he was like, "I'm not a sir, I'm a ma'am." And the guy was like, he did not want to call him a ma'am. So he just didn't call him anything. And the trans person just got mad, tore up the store. Like, it was a whole thing. But, what do you do with that? You looking at somebody, clearly it's a male person with lipstick and hair and a dress and high heel shoes. And you want them to call you a woman, or they want to be called a woman. But you can look at it and clearly see it's not. And, you know, what if your views and values won't allow you to entertain them? So one person's right supersedes the other. It's gonna be an interesting um, law to follow, but we definitely need to follow it, because if it passes, this is basically the nail in the coffin for America. You can get ready for judgment, because this is going to be the law of the land. So pay attention to this law. Let me know if you see it popping up in other states. I wouldn't be surprised. But the one takeaway you need to understand is the Democratic Party are not our friends. They are removing every protection that we could have had. They've put all these other groups under the umbrella with us, and now we're being pushed out. We're being erased. We have no protections. So if you want to know which party is for you, it's neither party, but it's definitely not the Democratic Party. So that said, no Black people with a good, healthy brain should be voting for Democrats ever. They're the ones that let the Reconstruction happen, the end of the Reconstruction era happen. They're the cause of it. And everything that has been impacting us negatively since has been on their watch. And Black people still act like they don't understand that this party is as racist as the Republican Party. We don't have any friends, Black people. I don't know how many times we got to go over this. Democrats are not your friends. I don't care how much they talk about race, racism, civil rights era. Get that stuff out your head. That was 50 years ago. We got to deal with now. Stop looking back. Deal with now. Over the last 50 years, they got us to where we are now, unprotected, poorer. Um, Even though we're women, Black women are educated more. Black men are far behind. Our families are divided. Um, it's just we have so many issues, and they're not doing nothing. They're not doing anything to help us. And then you add our Black gatekeepers. We got a mess. We got enemies on both sides, but I will say it feels like the bigger enemy is on the Democratic Party side. We got all kinds of Uncle Toms and raccoons and just gimmicks and tricks to help wiggle, our power away from us. So stop being so gullible. Stop thinking politics is going to save you. It's not going to save you. It ain't going to even save this old raggedy country. These people selling us down the river every chance they get. So if you can, just get politics out of your system as a solution to help us with anything. They ain't going to help us. They're not going to help us. Did I say it? Let me say it one more time. The Democratic Party is not going to help us at all, ever. So figure you something else out as a solution, because politics ain't it. All right, y'all. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to my Rumble and Odyssey channels in the event this channel is taken down. Forgive the fireworks. It is the 4th of July and people are celebrating, which is probably going to be the last good one in Babylon before all the chaos comes, but to each his or her own. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can receive all the notifications every time I upload a new video. Subscribe to my Odyssey and Rumble channels in the event that this channel is taken down. Also consider following me on social media. The links are in the description. If you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description. Lastly, continue to pray, continue to prep, seek the Most High for wisdom and guidance on how to navigate this ever-changing, wild and crazy system. Repent and cry out. Repent for sins of commission and sins of omission. The noose is tightening around our necks. As they come out with more and more laws that are protecting other people except for us, understand that means they're going to come after us. They're going to target us and we're left unprotected. So you need to be trying to figure out how you are going to navigate this system with no protections going forward, because that's what's coming. All right, y'all, this is Marla K. Take care. Keep an eye out on all these crazy things that are happening because things are getting wilder by the day. And I'm out.